Okay, in this video, we're going to show how to check to make sure all of your drive motors are working properly along with your steering motor. One of the most important things to do is make sure the unit's powered on, of course, and then four-wheel drive on the dash. We'll need maybe an assistant in this, or you can always find like a bucket from Lowe's or Home Depot, or a small enough box that doesn't interfere with the tires to set the vehicle on and carefully balance it. You'll also want to have the remote, but it can be done without it by pressing the pedal. Easier with the remote. That's the way we're going to demonstrate it today. So my assistant and I will lift the vehicle up, and we're going to test to make sure all the wheels are turning properly and free of any kind of weird noises. So, in our scenario, the wheels are turning. They're all going in the same direction, most importantly. If you have wheels that are turning in the wrong direction, then we will need to swap some wires. That's a whole nother video though. We're going to go ahead and pretend as if this motor was acting up or not working at all. I'm going to show you a trick to test the motor directly. This is in a situation your battery's charged, everything else is working, you have voltage on the dash that's showing 12 volts on the little radio. Okay? So we've already made this easy to get off. You'll want to pry the hubcap off gently to try not to break it. We've already loosened this one up, and we'll just kind of work around it and undo all the tabs. You'll next need to unscrew the locking nut, get the wheel. You can also use the wheel as a nice stand for the vehicle there. In this case, the front motor has a little casing on it. We've removed the screw, slid it off to get that out of the way, and the motor will simply slide off just like so. What we're going to do now is set the motor up here on the hood where it won't slide off. Alright, I've got my two wires here, and we are going to connect them directly to the battery. A couple ways of doing this. You could actually go to the trouble to removing the battery, but we're not going to do that today. I'm going to unplug the connector. If there's any hot melt on there, feel free to just kind of pick it off. We'll turn the car off because it's not even necessary to be on. Now we're going to undo this connector, and what I'm doing is I'm just poking these wires down in here and sliding the connector on to hold the wire. You don't even need these connectors on here. So basically we are getting power to these wires. What you don't want to do is you don't want to touch them together because they're going to spark like that. You don't want to do this around kids or anything because they're going to come back, think it's cool, and try to do it. So not a good idea. Be careful, keep these apart from each other. Alright. What we're going to do is make sure that this drive motor is good. So we're going to put one end of the wire in here, and we're going to make sure that it's touching the little metal piece in there, the little metal connector. Like I said, don't short it out like that. Then we're going to put this one on the other side. Okay? And that one's not making contact, I don't think. Let's see. Okay. I wasn't making good contact down at the battery. So make sure all your wires are making good contact there. And I'm going to do it again. Come on, make contact. There we go. So we know this motor is good. We can put it back on. If you have doubt, that's just kind of a trick to check the drive motor. Now, right here we have the steering motor. So what this would normally do whenever the vehicle's on is make the steering go from left to right. So just, if you listen there, you can hear me turning it by hand. If your steering's not working, this is the best way to test it. You'll unplug it. As you can see, I've got this wire here going to the motor. Don't use that one because it goes to the control box. It won't do you any good. You need this wire, see, going to the motor there. All right. We're going to take this wire that goes to the motor, we're going to do the same thing. We're basically just going to plug it directly into the 12-volt battery. And guys, you could even do this if you have like a 12-volt lawnmower battery or car battery laying around, and it'll do the same thing. You just need to make a good connection. That's the tricky part here. So what I'm trying to do is make sure these metal points get down in there and make really good contact, or this won't work and it'll be a waste of time. Now on this one you can only do it temporarily. As you can see, the steering is only able to turn so far, so don't hold this on there or you will cause damage to your steering motor or whatnot. But we get the point. It's turning. Okay, well it's only turning one direction. Well, you want to check the other direction? Switch the wires over. We're going to put it in this side, and then we're going to put this other wire on the other side, and it should turn all the way to the other direction. Oh, and there we go. It turns all the way to the other direction. So that's how you can directly test your steering motor. Just hook it straight up to the battery. Remember, be careful. Don't stick these together because it's going to make sparks. Okay? Don't do that.